Greetings, friends, faculty, and my fellow graduates of the class of 2025. My name is Galilea del Mar Dupree, and I'm an honors graduate within the BSN cohort this year. I'm deeply honored to be considered as one of our speakers and representatives of the graduating class this year. Today, we have the opportunity to celebrate more than just a degree. Tonight, we have the chance to celebrate our bachelor's, master's, and doctoral students gathered tonight, the future leaders and change makers, bright minds who have been waiting patiently for the chance to share their compassion with the world, students who have poured themselves tirelessly into their purpose to provide hope to the vulnerable. Graduates, together, we have been offered the privilege of education in a room that we likely will never be together in again. We get to celebrate every sacrifice, every sleepless night, and every challenge that shaped us into the nurses that we're becoming. We remember every person who's played a role in our becoming and thank them for the role that they've silently played in our lives. I invite you to remember any patients that you wish you could speak to again, or any mentors who reminded you to reconnect with your purpose during challenging moments. We honor these important individuals through our gratitude, our persistence, and our sustained faith in a brighter future. Remembering that light exists if you have the faith to see it. Without these beautiful individuals that we hold so close to our heart, but more importantly, without one another, we would lose crucial perspective. Moving forward, when we encounter moments where our gratitude cannot come to our minds as easily, we must remember that we are all we have. Faculty, I'd like to extend an immense amount of gratitude to you especially. Without your willingness to devote your limited time, energy, and resources to your students, we could not be here today. We thank you for your close attention to our continued growth, even the necessary scoldings that often prompted us to reflect deeply. You instilled grit, flexibility, and integrity through your guidance and teaching, reminding us often of our vulnerability as nurses, teaching us to take our mistakes seriously, even under the guidance of our preceptors and during patient simulations. Thank you for showing us right from wrong in the way that you felt would best prepare us, and for exposing us to the realities of this profession, even if at times it was difficult for us to see how that could be so. Above all, thank you for extending your wisdom to us, always encouraging us to push ourselves beyond our perceived limitations. Family and friends, we graduates have too much gratitude in our hearts to share with you tonight. This ceremony is more than a recognition of our academic achievements. It's a testament to your resilience, your determination, and unwavering commitment to our success. You've helped us to view our dreams as stepping stones to our purpose, putting our needs and responsibilities above your own, going without so that we could rise above limitations that once tried to make us feel like our dreams were too far out of reach. What good would any of this journey be if we could not come home to you to share our pride and joy? Your love conquers all the doubts that tried to stop us along the way. Tonight is just as much of a celebration for you as it is for us. I'd like to share with you a personal story that you may relate to in an attempt to underscore how important we are to one another, strangers especially. This story begins with my grandmother, who immigrated to the United States to seek specialized medical care from my mother, who at the time was only a few years old. My mother was born with spina bifida and cleft palate, two conditions that hardly any facility in our home country had the sufficient resources to support. I think often of this story, in which my grandmother lost her wallet on the Metro bus while traveling from our home in Houston to the medical center for one of my mother's spinal surgeries. The cash inside her wallet was all she and my grandfather had at the time. When she realized that it was gone, that she had left it on the bus, she ran frantically to the next stop, praying that it would still be there. Unfortunately, it wasn't. She arrived at the hospital in tears, shaking, struggling to breathe. Today I recognize that what she experienced was a severe panic attack, but back then, all she knew was that it was her fear. Fear of not being able to feed my mother that night, fear of not knowing what would come next. But then something happened. A nurse, a stranger, held her hands and said, "No se preocupe, todo sería bien." Right there in the middle of the hospital, this nurse prayed with her and reassured her that everything would be okay, not to worry. insisting on giving my grandmother enough money to buy dinner, even though my grandmother, out of pride and principle, refused. Later that night, after visiting my mother post-operatively following her first major reconstructive spinal surgery, my grandmother reached into her bag and froze. Inside was a $50 bill, folded neatly next to a rosary. I think about this moment often, because this is what nursing is. Nursing is not just administering medications or performing procedures. It is about seeing people when they feel unseen, offering hope when there is none, providing dignity when life feels cruel and unfair. That moment shaped the kind of nurse that I aspire to be, the kind who extends compassion before it's ever asked for. Many of us sitting here tonight have stories like this, stories of sacrifice, struggle, and perseverance. Some of us are first-generation graduates, the first in our family to achieve what generations before us could only dream of. Others have walked this journey while balancing jobs, caring for loved ones, or overcoming personal hardships. My grandmother did not have the luxury of sitting in a college classroom. She did not know what it meant to plan for a career, to chase dreams in the ways that we do. Instead, she knew survival. However, through community and the kindness of her strangers around her, she was able to craft a life and a beautiful family that could fulfill the dreams that she didn't get the chance to. Tonight, I thank her and my family, as well as my fellow graduates, because I didn't get here alone. We didn't get here alone. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, generations of pride and promise, legacies of dreamers, faculty, friends, and our precious loved ones. Your sacrifices built the foundation that allow us to stand here today. Class of 2025, we've been given the privilege of education, but also the responsibility to use it for something greater than ourselves. I ask you, what injustice in this world ignites something inside of you? What suffering do you refuse to accept? Because that is where your purpose lies. I've learned that the journey of nursing mirrors the paradox of education itself. You're asked to step into something before you fully know how to do it, to lead before you feel ready, to trust yourself before you have proof that you can. But we will figure it out, because that is what we've always done. We are the ones who run toward the chaos, who advocate for those without a voice, who fight for patients beyond the bedside, in policy, in research, leadership. We are the ones who see suffering not as something to turn away from, but as a call to action. James Baldwin, American poet, novelist, and civil rights activist, once wrote, "Your suffering does not isolate you. Your suffering is your bridge. Many people have suffered before you, and many will continue to suffer." Our struggles do not separate us. They connect us. They remind us of why we chose this path, why we fight for those in our care, and why we refuse to accept anything less than a better future. So let us be the nurses who lead with conviction, who challenge inequities, who offer comfort before it is needed, and who recognize that human connection is the most powerful medicine of all. Thank you all for your time tonight, but most importantly, congratulations, class of 2025. The world is waiting for us. Let's get to work.